What's good, everybody? Welcome back. So, first up this week is let's talk about the Maserati GranTurismo. So, a few days ago, about 6 days ago, they released more details about their upcoming GT car called the GranTurismo. It's a brand new car, brand new platform. They're saying it shares no parts with the last generation GranTurismo. The interesting thing that we are going to focus on is that they're offering it in two flavors. So they're going to offer it with the traditional combustion engine, a twin turbo V6 that they're offering with two different horsepower levels that goes up to 550 horsepower in the maximum amount. But the more interesting one for us is that they're also offering it as an all-electric car. So it will have 3 electric motors. It will be all-wheel drive, 1 motor up front, 2 motors in the rear with a total system output of 750-ish horsepower is what they're saying. That's pretty awesome, right? So, and the reason that Maserati is taking this approach with the GranTurismo is they want to let customers choose. Do you want to go with a more traditional, emotional combustion engine, which Maserati is known for? Maseratis sound incredible. That's one of the key pieces of their DNA as a brand. But at the same time, right, they're looking forward and they want to make sure that they're leaning into the future and where the whole industry is going, and also realize the performance benefits of electric propulsion. So they're offering an electric version as well, side by side. And they're making a point of saying, we are doing this to let the customer choose. And what's really interesting is that they're not making a big differentiation design-wise, aesthetically. They look almost identical. There's only a few things that separate the electric version from the combustion engine version. At least that's what they're saying right now. And again, they're saying this is on purpose. They don't want the electric version or the combustion engine to stand out or apart from one another. They want them to be seen as the same car. And I think this is a really, really interesting thing to me, right? In how Maserati is bridging this gap between the combustion engine, like the current combustion engine cars and the legacy of those, but then they're bridging it with the electric cars and the electric propulsion systems that everyone is going to, right? For efficiency, for performance, for regulatory reasons, everybody is going that way. So Maserati knows they need to go there, right? For all of those reasons and more. And the way that they're attacking this is that they're going to offer both side by side for the near future, right? And I think you're going to start seeing this more and more. Porsche is going to be doing this with the Porsche Macan, the next generation one of those. They're going to offer it both with a combustion engine and an all-electric version to help bridge the gap between in this transitory period between combustion engine and electric propulsion. Porsche is taking a different route with that, and that they're basically just going to facelift the current Macan and offer that as like the combustion engine next generation Macan, and then they have a ground up platform for their electric version of the Macan. But that's a difference, right? And that Maserati has developed this new platform for their GT car, their GranTurismo, around both combustion engine cars and electric versions of the same exact car. BMW is taking the same approach with the new class, which we've talked about in the past, and I'll put a link to below. But that's interesting, right? Because you see manufacturers taking two different approaches. Some are developing new platforms around both types of powertrains, both combustion and electric. And there are trade-offs and compromises there because you're trying to design a car for both systems. So there's going to, right, for example, electric cars don't have a transmission and drive shafts to connect the engine up front with the wheels in the back. So you have to package all of that. So there are compromises that you make. BMW, it's the same problem when you're trying to design a platform for both. Whereas with electric cars, right, with electric motors, they're on the axle that needs to be driven, and you can get rid of that center transmission tunnel, which gives you all these, packaging benefits, which manifests itself with more interior space or more efficient packaging. So one of the trade-offs, because Maserati is designing both cars together at the same time, and some of those compromises that you see with the electric version of the new Maserati is that it has a smaller rear trunk because there are batteries back there, but also it does not have a front. It does not have a front trunk, which is commonplace with a lot of electric cars because there isn't a giant engine up front with a transmission. So that is one of the compromises and trade-offs that Maserati has made. They've made that on purpose, realizing that they need to save money and develop both cars together at the same time while also offering their customers what they expect and what they're comfortable with, which are combustion engine cars, but at the same time, leaning forward into the future because they know that that's where they need to go and they need to start getting there rather quickly. So that's how they approach this, and I applaud them for that. And I think you're going to start seeing more and more of this, particularly with lower volume cars like sports cars, enthusiast cars that sell in lower numbers. That you're going to start seeing them try to do both at the same time. It's going to be a regular thing, at least in the near term, within the next, in the next couple of years as new cars are revealed. But with combustion engine cars being banned in a lot of Europe in 2030, and then in a lot of the United States by 2035, they all know they need to be going electric as quickly as possible. So you're going to start seeing more and more of these manufacturers do this, where they bridge and they develop a combustion engine car and electric version of the car at the same time, use the same platform with some trade-offs like no frunk, for example, with this car. The Maserati is just revealed. However, it's a good sign. It shows that we're moving forward while at the same time we're embracing the legacy of the past, and you're giving customers optionality, which is big. And that's really important because not everyone is ready to go electric, but at the same time, the brand needs to be moving that direction. So in their customers' best interest, they're offering both and they're letting them choose, which awesome. That's great. Because without choice, the product might be a flop, and if it's a flop, they might not do another one, and they might focus on SUVs. So this is a positive sign. It's really impressive that Maserati, a storied history, an Italian sports car manufacturer, supercar manufacturer, is producing an all electric sports car. Big news, and hopefully we start to see more and more of this from these big sports car brands, and more to come, I'm sure. But Maserati, really well done. Look forward to what's next.